The universe has a strange sense of humor. That's what Jasper Thompson thought as he sat across from his college roommate, watching them meticulously dissect a peanut butter sandwich with scientific precision. Zara, if that was even their real name, had been acting odd since day one, but this moment in the bustling campus cafeteria finally confirmed his suspicions. You know, Jasper said, leaning forward, most people just bite into their sandwiches. They don't usually analyze the molecular structure first. Zara froze, their iridescent green eyes flickering with an unnatural shimmer. They quickly adjusted their thick-rimmed glasses, a gesture Jasper now realized was more habit than necessity. I find human food fascinating, they replied, then immediately tensed at their own words. Human food, Jasper repeated slowly, a smile spreading across his face. As opposed to. The cafeteria buzzed with typical lunchtime chaos, but at their small corner table, time seemed to stand still. Zara's perfect posture, another oddity he'd noticed, became even more rigid. Their tan skin shifted almost imperceptibly, like a hologram glitching. I can explain, they whispered, glancing around nervously. Though perhaps not here. 20 minutes later, they sat in their shared dorm room, with Jasper trying to process the fact that his roommate of 3 months was actually a xenoanthropologist from the Centauri Scientific Coalition. The explanation tumbled out of Zara in a rush of words, their carefully maintained human mannerisms slipping away to reveal subtle alien gestures. We've been studying Earth for centuries, they explained, pacing the small room. Your species is fascinating, so young, yet so resilient. You create art, music, literature, you dream of the stars even before you can reach them. The Coalition has been watching, waiting for the right moment to make contact. Jasper sat on his bed, running his hands through his curly black hair. And that moment involves you pretending to be a college student studying, what was it again? Comparative literature, Zara replied, looking slightly embarrassed. We thought it would provide excellent cover for studying human cultural narratives. Though I must admit, your professor's interpretation of Kafka is rather concerning. A laugh bubbled up from deep in Jasper's chest. So all those late-night discussions about symbolism in The Metamorphosis were actually field research, Zara confirmed, their lips twitching into a smile. Though I genuinely enjoyed them. Your perspective on transformation and alienation was particularly insightful, given the circumstances. The irony wasn't lost on Jasper. He'd spent countless hours discussing the theme of feeling like an outsider with someone who literally was one. Why are you telling me this now? Isn't there some kind of alien prime directive against revealing yourself? Zara's expression grew serious. There is. The non-interference protocol is quite strict. But circumstances are changing, Jasper. Humanity is advancing faster than anticipated. Within months, your quantum telescope array will detect our observation posts in the Kuiper Belt. The Coalition believes it's better to begin controlled contact now, through individuals who might help ease the transition. And you chose me because. Because you see things differently, Zara said simply. You question assumptions. When others dismissed the possibility of silicon-based life in your xenobiology seminar, you argued for keeping an open mind. When your friends laughed at conspiracy theories about aliens, you suggested that the universe was too vast for humanity to be alone. They paused, adding softly, and you noticed that I never blink in sync with human patterns, yet you never made me feel strange about it. Jasper remembered those moments, the little oddities he'd observed but had attributed to Zara being uniquely themselves. So what happens now? That depends partly on you, Zara admitted. I'm breaking protocol by revealing myself, but the Coalition needs allies, humans who can help bridge the gap between our worlds. The transition won't be easy. There are factions in both our societies that fear contact. And you think I can help? Jasper asked, still trying to wrap his head around the magnitude of what was being asked of him. Zara's form shimmed slightly, their carefully maintained human appearance flickering to reveal a brief glimpse of their true form, still humanoid, but with skin that seemed to capture and reflect light like living crystal. I think you already are. You're sitting here, having a rational conversation about the fact that your roommate is an alien, instead of running away screaming. That's promising. Jasper laughed again, the sound helping to ground him in the surreal moment. Well, it does explain why you were so confused by the concept of pizza rolls. He paused, a thought occurring to him. Wait, are there others? Other aliens on campus? Let's just say the lunch lady who always gives extra fries to kind students isn't exactly from this solar system, Zara replied with a conspiratorial wink. We have various observers in place, studying different aspects of human society. Though I should point out that Mrs. Garcia's tendency to slip extra desserts to students who look sad is entirely her own choice. It's caused quite a stir in our behavioral studies department. As the autumn sun set outside their dorm window, casting the room in warm golden light, Jasper realized his life had irrevocably changed. Yet somehow, sitting there with Zara, who was still the same person he'd grown to know over the past months, just with a much more interesting backstory, it didn't feel as earth-shattering as it should have. So, he said finally, want to get pizza rolls and you can tell me more about how your people really feel about human literature. I promise not to report your opinions on Kafka to the coalition. Zara's laugh chimed like crystal bells. I would like that. Though I still maintain that turning into a giant insect is an inefficient method of exploring existential crisis. As they headed out into the corridor, Jasper couldn't help but smile. Somehow, he had a feeling this was just the beginning of a much bigger adventure. The universe did indeed have a strange sense of humor, but maybe that wasn't such a bad thing after all. Knowing your roommate is an alien changes how you see everything. In the weeks following Zara's revelation, Jasper found himself noticing things he'd previously overlooked. The way Professor Wilson's hands moved too smoothly when she wrote on the whiteboard. How the campus gardener never seemed affected by weather, tending to the grounds with the same efficiency in scorching heat or pouring rain. The strange symbols that occasionally flickered across his phone screen when messages arrived from certain numbers. You're getting better at spotting us, Zara commented one evening as they walked across campus. The autumn air was crisp, and fallen leaves crunched beneath their feet. Though you might want to be less obvious about your staring. Dr. Wilson almost filed a behavior report yesterday. Sorry, Jasper grinned, shoving his hands into his jacket pockets. It's just fascinating. How many of you are there, really? Zara glanced around before responding, their voice dropping to a whisper. On Earth? Approximately 12,000. On campus? 27, including the quantum physics department's coffee maker. The coffee maker is an alien? More accurately, it's a sophisticated atmospheric analysis device that also makes excellent espresso. We've found that humans are less likely to question advanced technology if it provides caffeine. Their conversation was interrupted by a familiar voice. Zara. There you are. Running toward them was Kai, a graduate student from the astronomy department who always seemed to be around lately. Jasper had initially assumed they had a crush on Zara, but now he wondered if there was another reason for their constant presence. Kai reached them, barely out of breath despite their sprint across campus. Their dark eyes held an urgency that made Jasper tense. We need to talk. There's been a development. Zara straightened, their casual demeanor shifting to something more formal. Of course. Jasper, would you excuse us? Actually, Kai interjected, he should hear this too. He's already involved, and after what we detected last night. They glanced around nervously. Not here though. The observatory. The campus observatory sat on a hill overlooking the university, its dome silhouetted against the darkening sky. Inside, Kai led them past the main telescope to a door marked Equipment Storage. Their hand pressed against the scanner, and Jasper watched in amazement as the entire wall shimmed and dissolved, revealing a hidden room filled with technology that definitely wasn't standard university equipment. Welcome to the real observatory, Kai said, their human appearance flickering briefly to reveal skin that seemed to shift like flowing mercury. One of our primary monitoring stations on Earth. Holographic displays filled the air around them, showing star charts and data streams that made Jasper's head spin. But it was the central projection that caught his attention, a three-dimensional map of the solar system, with dozens of points of light marking what he assumed were alien installations. Last night, we detected an unauthorized entry into the system, Kai explained, manipulating the display. A ship dropping out of faster-than-light travel inside Neptune's orbit. It bore markings of the Rigel Protectorate. Zara hissed, an inhuman sound that made the air vibrate. That's impossible. The treaty was broken, Kai finished grimly. They're coming, Zara. And based on their trajectory, they know about our observation posts. About our presence here. Jasper looked between them, noting their tense expressions. I'm guessing these Rigel guys aren't friendly. The Protectorate represents a faction that believes developing species should be guided more directly, Zara explained carefully. They argue that letting civilizations develop naturally leads to chaos and potential threats. They prefer to shape societies according to their own ideals. They're colonizers, Kai said bluntly. And they've been waiting for an excuse to intervene on Earth for centuries. Our presence here gives them that excuse. The implications hit Jasper like a physical force. They're going to try to take over Earth. Not exactly, Zara said, their fingers dancing through the holographic display to highlight various points across the globe. They'll likely present themselves as benefactors, offering advanced technology and solutions to humanity's problems. But their help comes with conditions. Within a generation, Earth would effectively be a client state of the Protectorate. Can't your coalition stop them? Jasper asked, watching as more data streamed across the displays, showing what appeared to be battle simulations and probability calculations. Kai shook their head. Not without risking an interstellar war. The political situation is complex. But there might be another way. They turned to face Jasper directly. That's why we needed you here. The Protectorate's entire justification relies on humanity being unprepared for galactic society. But if first contact were to happen naturally, through existing channels. Through me, Jasper realized. A human who already knows about aliens and hasn't freaked out about it. You're not the only one, Zara added quickly. We've revealed ourselves to a select few humans over the years. Scientists, artists, philosophers, people who might help ease the transition. But you have something they don't. What's that? Access to social media with a significant following, Kai said with a slight smile. Your video essays about space exploration and the possibility of alien life have quite the audience. People trust you, listen to you. And more importantly, you have a documented history of discussing these topics rationally. Jasper ran a hand through his hair, a nervous habit he'd never quite broken. So what exactly are you asking me to do? Zara stepped forward, their expression serious. We're asking you to help us reveal the truth about extraterrestrial life to humanity, but on our terms, not the Protectorate's. It won't be easy. Once we start, there's no going back. Your life will change forever. My life changed the moment you decided to dissect that sandwich, Jasper pointed out, earning a small laugh from both aliens. He looked at the holographic displays, at the representation of Earth floating among the stars, suddenly seeming so small and vulnerable. What's our timeline? The Protectorate ship will reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours, Kai said. We need to begin the disclosure process before then. 3 days to prepare humanity for the existence of alien life, Jasper mused. No pressure or anything. As if in response to his words, new alerts began flashing across the displays. Kai moved quickly to check them, their expression growing more concerned. Make that 48 hours. They're moving faster than we calculated. Zara placed a hand on Jasper's shoulder, their touch carrying a slight electric tingle. "Are you with us?" Looking at their familiar face, the face of his friend, regardless of what galaxy they came from, Jasper knew there was only one answer he could give. "Well," he said with a wry smile, "I always wanted my videos to make history. Though I guess I should probably start by explaining why my roommate never learned how to eat a sandwich properly." The humor barely masked the gravity of the situation, but it helped. As they began planning how to tell the world's greatest secret, Jasper couldn't help but think that his comparative literature professor would appreciate the irony. He was about to become part of the biggest story ever told, and it all started with a simple lunch in a college cafeteria. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of activity. Jasper's dorm room had become an impromptu command center, with holographic displays hidden behind privacy screens that made the space appear normal to casual observers. He sat at his desk, staring at his video editing software, trying to find the right words to change the world. "Remember," Zara said, pacing behind him, their human disguise flickering occasionally with anxiety, "we need to strike the right balance. Too dramatic, and people will think it's a hoax. Too casual, and they won't take it seriously." Jasper nodded, fingers hovering over his keyboard. His usual video opening, "Hey space enthusiasts," seemed absurdly inadequate for this situation. "What about starting with the sandwich story?" "The sandwich?" Kai looked up from their quantum tablet, where they were monitoring the Protectorate ship's approach. "How is that relevant?" "Because it's real," Jasper explained, swiveling in his chair. "It's small and human and weird. People relate to stories about college roommates doing strange things. We start there, then build up to the bigger revelations." Zara stopped pacing, their expression thoughtful. The personal angle could work. Humans tend to process major paradigm shifts better when they're grounded in relatable experiences. A soft chime from Kai's tablet interrupted them. "The Protectorate vessel has accelerated again. We're down to 36 hours. Jasper took a deep breath and began recording. "Hey everyone. So, funny story, my roommate doesn't know how to eat a sandwich. Turns out there's a good reason for that. They're not from Earth." The next few hours were a careful dance of revelation and explanation. Jasper recorded multiple takes, with Zara and Kai providing fact-checking and suggestions. They decided to include carefully controlled footage of Zara's true form, brief glimpses that couldn't be easily dismissed as special effects but wouldn't overwhelm viewers. "The Coalition's anthropologists are dividing into teams," Kai reported, monitoring the global response network they'd established. "They'll be ready to make themselves known to key scientific and governmental institutions once your video goes live. Dr. Wilson has already scheduled an emergency faculty meeting." "What about the lunch lady?" Jasper asked, remembering their earlier conversation. Zara smiled. "Mrs. Garcia has already prepared stress relief brownies for the entire campus. She says humans process shocking news better with chocolate." Their planning was interrupted by a knock at the door. Everyone froze. "Jasper. You in there?" It was Lynn, Jasper's study partner from xenobiology class. Kai quickly activated their cloaking technology, becoming invisible, while Zara resumed their perfect human appearance. Jasper opened the door, trying to act normal. "Hey Lynn, what's up?" Lynn, a small woman with bright purple hair and multiple ear piercings, held up her tablet. "Have you seen the news? Multiple observatories are reporting weird signals from the outer solar system. Some people are saying it might be artificial in origin." Jasper exchanged a quick glance with Zara. The Protectorate's approach wasn't as stealthy as they'd hoped. "Yeah, I've heard something about that. Actually, I'm working on a video about it right now." "Really?" Lynn's eyes lit up. She'd always been enthusiastic about Jasper's space content. "Can I see?" Another silent exchange with Zara, who gave a subtle nod. Perhaps this was a good test run. "Sure, but you might want to sit down first." 20 minutes later, Lynn sat on Jasper's bed, staring wide-eyed at Zara, who had dropped their human disguise. "Holy shit," she whispered for approximately the 15th time. "Holy shit." "So," Jasper said carefully, "what do you think? About the video, I mean. Will people believe it?" Lynn tore her gaze away from Zara's crystalline form. "Believe that aliens exist and have been secretly attending college alongside us? That there's an advanced alien civilization out there about to make contact?" She laughed, slightly hysterically. "I mean, if you'd shown me this yesterday, I'd have said you'd lost your mind. But now." She gestured at Zara. "Kind of hard to deny the evidence right in front of me. Would you be willing to appear in the video?" Jasper asked. "Show your real-time reaction. It might help viewers relate." "Are you kidding? I'm a xenobiology major who just discovered aliens are real. Try and stop me." Lynn paused, then added, "Though I do have one condition." "What's that?" "I want to meet Mrs. Garcia. Those brownies she makes have to involve alien technology. They're too good to be Earth-based." The tension in the room broke as everyone, including the still invisible Kai, burst out laughing. "Actually," Zara admitted, "that's pure human culinary skill. We've been trying to replicate her recipe for years without success." As they incorporated Lynn's genuine reaction into the video, Jasper felt a growing sense of hope. If one person could accept the truth with curiosity and humor rather than fear, maybe humanity as a whole could too. Their work was interrupted by another alert from Kai's monitoring systems. The Protectorate ship had changed course again, this time more dramatically. "They're not heading for Earth," Kai announced, their voice tense. "They're targeting our observation post on the moon." "How long?" Zara demanded. "At their current velocity? 18 hours. Maybe less." Jasper looked at his video editing software, then at Lynn, who was still asking Zara excited questions about alien biology. "So our timeline just got cut in half. We need to release the video now," Zara said firmly. "Before the Protectorate can force their version of first contact." Lynn raised her hand like she was still in class. Quick question, what exactly happens if these Protectorate guys reach the moon first? Best case scenario? They establish a beachhead and present themselves as humanity's first alien contact, undermining our careful preparation, Kai explained, finally dropping their invisibility, which caused Lynn to whisper another, "Holy shit." "And worst case?" Jasper asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. "They decide humanity isn't ready for contact at all and implement more, aggressive forms of guidance." Zara's expression was grim. "We can't let that happen." Jasper turned back to his computer, fingers flying over the keyboard as he made final edits. "Then let's make history." He hovered over the upload button, suddenly aware of the weight of this moment. "Any last advice?" "Just be yourself," Zara said softly. "That's what made me trust you with the truth in the first place." With a deep breath, Jasper clicked upload. As the progress bar filled, he couldn't help but think that somewhere out there, Kafka was probably appreciating the irony of a college student using social media to prevent an alien invasion. "Videos live," he announced. "Now we just have to hope humanity is ready for the truth." "They better be," Lynn muttered, still staring at Kai's mercurial form with fascination. "Because I have about 1,000,000 questions about alien biology and I'm not leaving until I get some answers." As notifications began flooding Jasper's phone, they all watched the view counter start to climb. The truth was out there now. The only question was, how would the world respond? The response was immediate and overwhelming. Within hours, Jasper's video had gone viral, spreading across social media platforms faster than anyone had anticipated. The hastily assembled command center in his dorm room buzzed with activity as they monitored global reactions. 3 million views and climbing, Lynn reported, managing their social media response. She'd thrown herself into the role of communications coordinator with surprising efficiency. Top trending topic worldwide. Major news networks are picking up the story. Kai's Mercury-like form shifted anxiously as they tracked multiple holographic displays. Coalition representatives are making contact with world governments now. The Chinese Space Agency just confirmed receipt of our transmission. NASA is, being NASA. Meaning? Jasper asked, trying to keep up with the flood of information. They're excited but trying very hard not to show it, Zara explained, their crystalline form now fully visible as they'd abandoned any pretense of human appearance. Typical human scientific caution. Though Dr. Wilson's presentation to the UN Security Council seems to be going well. The door burst open, and Mrs. Garcia hurried in, pushing a cart laden with what appeared to be enough stress relief brownies to feed the entire dormitory. "You children need to eat," she insisted, her human disguise flickering to reveal scales that shimmered like opals. Revolution of human consciousness burns many calories. Before anyone could respond, every display in the room flashed red. Kai moved with impossible speed, their liquid metal form flowing between screens. Protectorate vessel has entered lunar orbit. They're broadcasting. Every screen, phone, and tablet suddenly displayed the same message, transmitted globally in all languages: "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are representatives of the Rigel Protectorate, here to guide humanity into a new age of prosperity and advancement." "Well," Lynn said dryly, taking a stress brownie, "they didn't waste any time." Jasper watched as news channels worldwide picked up the Protectorate's message. "They're trying to overshadow our revelation, make it seem like part of their plan." "Classic Protectorate tactics," Zara growled, the sound making the windows vibrate. "They'll present themselves as benevolent mentors, here to help humanity avoid the chaos of unguided development." Mrs. Garcia snorted, a sound somehow both elegant and dismissive. "They underestimate humans' ability to recognize colonization, no matter how prettily wrapped." She was right. As they watched, social media exploded with responses to the Protectorate's message. People were drawing parallels to historical colonization efforts, questioning the timing of their arrival, and most importantly, pointing out that humanity had already been peacefully coexisting with aliens, as evidenced by Jasper's video. "Look at this," Lynn said, pulling up a trending thread. "People are sharing stories of their own encounters with suspected aliens. That weird substitute teacher who never got cold. The librarian who could somehow reach the top shelf without a ladder. The barista who always knew exactly what drink you needed before you ordered. Coalition operatives," Kai confirmed. "Not all of them, but enough. We've been integrating into human society for generations." A new alert caught their attention. The Protectorate was requesting a meeting, not with world leaders, but with Jasper specifically. "They want to talk to me." Jasper read the message again, disbelieving. "Why?" "Because you changed the game," Zara explained, placing a supportive hand on his shoulder. "Their entire strategy relied on being humanity's first contact with alien life. You've not only revealed our existence but shown that peaceful coexistence is possible. You're a symbol now. A symbol they'll want to discredit or control," Kai added grimly. "We can't let them near you." But Jasper was already thinking, a plan forming in his mind. What if we use their request against them? Make the meeting public, stream it live. Lynn straightened, catching on. Force them to explain themselves in front of the whole world instead of behind closed doors. "It's risky," Zara warned. "The Protectorate's representatives are skilled manipulators. Then we'll be ready for them." Jasper turned to Mrs. Garcia. "How many of those brownies can you make in the next hour?" The alien lunch lady's scales rippled with amusement. "Enough to feed every news crew on campus. Hungry humans are grumpy humans. Grumpy humans ask harder questions." They worked quickly, transforming the university's main auditorium into a makeshift press center. Coalition members revealed themselves to campus security, ensuring proper protection. Students and faculty poured in, many openly displaying their alien nature now that secrecy was no longer necessary. Dr. Wilson coordinated with other coalition scientists worldwide, preparing documentation of their decades of peaceful observation and interaction. Lin organized a live stream that would broadcast simultaneously across multiple platforms, ensuring no one could control or censor the narrative. As the deadline approached, Jasper stood backstage, adjusting his collar nervously. "What if I mess this up?" "You won't," Zara said firmly. "Just be honest. That's what got us here." "Besides," Lin added, handing him a brownie, "you've got the entire alien student body behind you." Literally, I think half the physics department finally revealed themselves. Kai's liquid metal form solidified briefly next to them. Protectorate representatives are entering the atmosphere. Their shuttle will land in 10 minutes. Jasper took a deep breath, feeling the weight of two worlds on his shoulders. Yet somehow, looking at his friends, human and alien alike, he felt ready. "Well," he said, managing a smile, "at least this will make for an interesting follow-up video." "That's the spirit," Mrs. Garcia approved, appearing with another tray of brownies. "Now, remember what I taught you about dealing with difficult people? Feed them first, then ask the hard questions." "Exactly. Negotiation always goes better with chocolate." As they took their positions, Jasper couldn't help but think that perhaps this was what both humanity and the coalition had been working toward all along, not just first contact, but first understanding. And it all started with a sandwich in a college cafeteria. The Protectorate representatives arrived in a display of calculated grandeur, their shuttle descending from the sky in a shower of golden light. In contrast to the diverse appearances of the coalition aliens, they all maintained identical humanoid forms, tall, ethereally beautiful, and somehow too perfect to be real. The auditorium fell silent as they entered, their leader gliding forward with unnatural grace. "I am Delegate Prime Vertex," they announced, their voice carrying an artificial warmth. "We are surprised by the circumstances of this meeting." Jasper stood at the podium, acutely aware of the billions watching worldwide. "Welcome to Earth," he said, managing to keep his voice steady. "Would you like a brownie?" The non sequitur caught the delegate off guard, creating a tiny crack in their perfect facade. Behind them, Lin quietly live-streamed everything, including the subtle reactions of the audience. Mrs. Garcia moved through the crowd, offering her famous brownies to everyone, human, coalition, and protectorate alike. "We have come," Vertex continued, ignoring the offer, "to guide humanity into a new era of enlightenment. Yet we find our generous offer has been complicated by certain revelations." "You mean the fact that aliens have already been living peacefully among humans?" Jasper asked, his nervousness giving way to determination. "That we've been sharing classrooms, ideas, and apparently recipes for years without any need for external guidance." Vertex's perfect smile tightened slightly. "The Coalition's unauthorized interference has put this planet's natural development at risk. Their presence here violates numerous interstellar protocols." Actually, Dr. Wilson stood up from her seat, her human disguise dissolving to reveal her true form of swirling energy contained within an crystalline exoskeleton. "Our presence here was fully sanctioned by the Galactic Scientific Council. I have the documentation right here, all 7,000 pages of it. Which I'm sure everyone would love to review," Jasper interjected quickly, seeing the delegate about to launch into what would likely be a lengthy legal argument. "But maybe we should address the real question, why are you really here?" A ripple of murmurs went through the crowd. The Protectorate representatives shifted uncomfortably as Jasper continued, "Because from where I'm standing, it looks less like guidance and more like an attempt to control humanity's first steps into galactic society. You cannot possibly understand the complexities of interstellar politics," Vertex said dismissively. "Humanity is young, volatile, unpredictable." "Exactly," Jasper exclaimed, warming to his theme. "That's what makes us interesting. That's why the Coalition chose to learn from us instead of trying to control us. Did you know they've been studying human literature? Art? Music? They've been trying to understand us, not change us. Lin's voice carried from the back. Their xenobiology professor spent 3 months analyzing human memes. For science. A laugh rippled through the crowd, breaking the tension. Even some of the junior protectorate representatives looked amused, though they quickly schooled their expressions. Look, Jasper said, softening his tone, humanity isn't perfect. We make mistakes, we argue, we sometimes put pineapple on pizza, which I've been told is considered a minor crime on 6 different planets. But we also create, adapt, and grow. We dream bigger than our capabilities and then work to catch up to those dreams. The coalition understood that. They became part of our community, shared our lives, ate our weird food. Speaking of food, Mrs. Garcia interrupted, somehow having materialized next to Vertex with her tray of brownies. You look stressed, dear. Sugar helps with difficult conversations. Almost reflexively, the delegate took a brownie. The simple, human gesture seemed to shift something in the room's atmosphere. The coalition members among us aren't just observers anymore, Jasper continued. They're our friends, our teachers, our classmates. And they've shown us that the galaxy doesn't need a protectorate to enforce order. It needs understanding, patience, and maybe occasionally some really good brownies. Vertex took a bite of their brownie, and their perfect facade cracked completely. This is remarkable, they admitted, staring at the treat with genuine wonder. Old family recipe, Mrs. Garcia said proudly. Though the secret ingredient is actually certain Earth spices that don't exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Impossible, one of the other delegates protested. Our surveys showed no unique botanical compounds of note. Because you were looking for things you could quantify and control, Zara spoke up. You weren't looking for the small things that make Earth special. Like how humans can take simple ingredients and create something extraordinary. Or how they can accept the existence of aliens and immediately start asking about our favorite movies. It's true, Lin confirmed. We have a whole thread going about alien perspectives on Earth cinema. Apparently, The Princess Bride is considered a masterpiece of political commentary on 12 different worlds. As laughter and conversation filled the auditorium, the rigid formality of the meeting dissolved. Humans and aliens began mingling freely, sharing stories and snacks. Even the protectorate representatives found themselves drawn into discussions about Earth culture, their carefully maintained appearances relaxing as they engaged in genuine dialogue. Hours later, when the formal declarations had been made and the protectorate had grudgingly acknowledged Earth's right to choose its own path into galactic society, Jasper sat in his dorm room with his friends, both human and alien. So, Lin said, scrolling through the continued social media explosion, what happens now? Now, Zara replied, their crystalline form catching the sunset light, we do what we've always done. We learn from each other. We grow together. We figure it out as we go along. Though maybe with fewer secrets, Kai added, their mercury-like form settling into a comfortable shape. And more brownies, Mrs. Garcia called from the doorway, arriving with what seemed to be an endless supply. Jasper looked around at this unlikely group, his friends, his community, his small piece of the vast, weird, wonderful universe. You know what this means, right? That humanity has entered a new era of interstellar cooperation and cultural exchange. Zara suggested. Well, yes, Jasper admitted. But I was thinking more about how I'm definitely going to ace my xenobiology final now. As laughter filled the room, somewhere in the distance, a protectorate ship departed Earth's orbit, leaving behind several delegates who had requested to stay and conduct further research into human culture. Though it might have had something to do